Please. Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here, and in this short video I'm going to show you how you can make money from property you don't even own. Sounds good, huh? Well, this is the first of 4 training videos which I've put together for people who are interested in Property Magic Live, and I'll tell you more about that later on. And this first video is all about how to profit from purchase options. So let's get straight into it and go back to the basics. What is a purchase option and how can you benefit? So a property option gives you control of an asset, control of a property, without the need for a large deposit or a mortgage. And basically you have the right, but not the obligation, but the right to buy the property in the future at a price that's set now, and you pay a small option fee for this right. Now that's a purchase option, and if it's a purchase lease option, what happens, you also pay a small fee to the owner of the property each month as well, and in many cases you babysit their mortgage for them, which is covering their mortgage payments. So why on earth would you want an option? Well, basically what it means is you can control property for no or low money down, which means there's no limit to the amount of property you can control. And you might decide to get an option for a property for you to live in, and you can live in a bigger, better house. If you're just renting at the moment, rather than throwing rent away, you can actually control a property that's going up in value. Or you might take on a property and benefit from the positive cash flow. So you can get cash flow from a property you don't even own, and I'll give you an example of that in a moment. And finally, you can flip property on. If you're interested in buying property and adding value and flipping it on, well, you can do that with options. You can do it without even buying the property and get a cash profit in your pocket. So it can work really, really well for you. So you might think, well, why on earth would a seller agree to grant you an option? Well, there are a number of reasons. Ultimately, they probably want to sell the property but can't sell it. And you know, the market at the moment is very difficult to sell property. So do you think there might be a few people out there who want to sell but can't? I would have thought so. And the really important thing about an option, most people say that you need to find someone who doesn't need the money from the sale now. If you're looking to do a long-term option with someone, they're not going to get the money now. They're going to get it sometime in the future. So therefore, it's someone who's not selling because they're trying to raise money. If they're trying to do that, generally a purchase lease option is not going to work for them. Or it could be someone who's got no equity in the property. So when they sell the property, they're not actually going to make any money anyway. So that's a perfect example of someone who might be prepared to do an option. And in fact, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get away from the mortgage liability, and that's the most important thing for them. And if they do that, it means they can move on and just get on with their life. So you're helping people with a specific problem. They've got a liability of a mortgage generally that they want to get rid of. So if you're looking to find good option deals, there are 2 factors you can look for that will help you identify this particular type of deal. The first one is a seller who doesn't need the revenue from the sale. Okay, so they don't need the revenue from the sale. It might be there's no equity at all, so they're not going to get any revenue from the sale, or it might be a property like an inherited property, where they're just going to take the money and put it in the bank. They don't really need it, but they just don't really want the hassle of owning that property. Second factor is you want to find properties that have got favourable mortgage conditions, whereby they've got a very low mortgage, and this is why options is a really good strategy to use right now. The Bank of England base rate is so low that many people's mortgages are 1, 2, 3%, which is a lot lower than the mortgage you would get if you actually purchased the property now. So if you've agreed to pay someone else's mortgage for them, it means you're going to get a lot more cash flow from the property that you're going to rent out. So these are the 2 conditions you want to look for typically to find 2 good options. Now let me give you a case study. This is a large property in southeast London. This is a property that Chris and Charmaine, who came on my mastermind program, found. And here's a summary of the deal. Basically, it was on the market for £900,000. Now, Chris and Charmaine were looking for a property in this area because they knew there was a lot of demand from local students. And they negotiated with the guy, but the guy was adamant he didn't want to sell less than £900,000. Basically, he'd been running it as a bed and breakfast business, but he was old, he wanted to retire, and his daughter didn't want to run the business, and he knew it was worth £900,000. That's all he wanted to sell it for. And but he was flexible. He wouldn't accept any offers, but he was flexible to something slightly different. And we taught Chris and Charmaine on Mastermind how to find out what the true problem is. And what he wanted to do was sell this property, and that's why he wanted to sell it for 900,000. That's how much money he thought he needed. He wanted to sell the property so he could buy 2 flats for cash. He was then going to rent the 2 flats out, and he was going to give all of the income to his daughter. So his objective was to give an income to his daughter. So Chris and Charmaine thought very creatively, and they said, well, rather than you having to sell the properties and buy the flats and rent them out and have all the hassle associated with that, how about we agree to buy the property from you for £900,000, but in a few years' time, and in the meantime we will give you a rent without you having to do anything, and so we can then use your property. And so basically he agreed to a 5-year option to sell them property for £900,000 in 5 years, and in the meantime they pay a monthly fee of £2,250 to the owner of the property. Now you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of money they've got to pay every single month. Well, it is quite a lot of money, but they've done their research and they know this is a good deal, because they are now renting out all of the rooms to students in the local area, and not only are they covering this money, they're covering all the bills that they pay, and they're making a profit. Now, there was no cost to them to get this option. They paid £1 for the option. They did have to spend some money on refurb. It's got a lot of bedrooms and they all had ensuite bathrooms. They all needed refurbing. So they spent about £60,000 on a refurb. However, this wasn't Chris and Charmaine's money. They borrowed it from someone else. So they didn't need money to do this deal. All they needed was the expertise and the knowledge and the persistence to get out there and find good deals like this. Now the upshot of this is, this property has 17 bedrooms. They rent out at £100 per room per week. What that means, after paying all of the expenses, that's the payment to the owner, all the bills and the interest on the £60,000 they borrowed, they walk out with £50,000 net income per year. £50,000 is managed by an agent, so that's £50,000 of passive income from just one option deal. Now, this is a big option deal, and obviously not every option deal is going to give that, but I wanted to demonstrate to you an actual case study from some of our masterminders of what can be achieved with options. This is why you really should be looking at options. And you might be thinking, well, that sounds all too easy, it can't be that easy. Well, there are a few challenges. Obviously you need to be able to find motivated sellers. These are people who are flexible and are prepared to do some sort of deal with you. It might be giving you a lower price, but it might be just being flexible on the terms. So these people are flexible about when the sale actually happens. Also, most people you speak to won't understand options. I meet a lot of investors who have no understanding about what options are and how you can use them. And if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to persuade someone else to do an option with you. So you need to get that understanding about options. And also, most options don't stack up. You know, you might have a property where someone's prepared to do an option, but it doesn't give you good cash flow. So why on earth would you want to do it? It might have any equity, no cash flow. Why would you do it? So, you know, just because you can do an option doesn't mean you should do an option. So there are a few challenges to doing these options. The good news is we've got solutions to all of these particular problems. And at the event we're doing in October, on the 1st and 2nd of October, Property Magic Live, here are some of the things you're going to learn at that event. First of all, we're going to share with you 3 strategies where you can make money from options even if the seller needs the money now. Remember what we said about options? Generally they only work if people don't need the money now. Well, we've come up with 3 strategies where you can make money even if they need a fast sale and they need the money now using options. Also, we're going to teach you how you can get more sellers to agree to long-term options. You know, a lot of sellers don't like the idea of selling in the future. We're going to share with you a very simple strategy that's going to get a lot more people agreeing to do long-term options, which means you can benefit from the cash flow just like Chris and Charmaine. Okay? And finally, even if deals don't stack up, we can show you how you can make £2,000 to £5,000 per option deal you find, even if there's no cash flow or no equity. It's all about knowing what to do with these deals. We're going to show you exactly what to do at Property Magic Live. So what is Property Magic Live? Well, it's a 2-day event in October on the 1st and 2nd. To find out more about Property Magic Live, what you have to do is join our early notification list. Now, this is free of charge. There's no cost at all. And if you join our early notification list, we'll also enter you into our free prize draw with your chance to win 2 VIP tickets. And by VIP, I mean we're going to pick you up by chauffeur anywhere in the UK, drive you to the event, put you up for 2 nights in a really nice suite. We're going to give you 2 tickets to the event, and then we're going to take you home. So proper VIP treatment. It's a completely free prize draw. All you have to do is go and enter. So, and also we're going to share with you the next 3 training videos. Now, in the next video, the second in this series of 4 videos, I'm going to teach you how you can protect you and your property portfolio against the risk of high interest rates. Okay, very, very important. What you need to do, go and register now at propertymagiclive.co.uk. propertymagiclive.co.uk. It's completely free of charge for you to register. You'll go, there's a video of me there, there's a form you need to fill in. We'll enter you into the free prize draw, and you'll receive the next 3 videos in this series of 4 that I've done. Okay, so my name is Simon Zutshi, and I look forward to sharing some great valuable information with you on the next video. Thank you.